Good evening, students. Today we are going to start an important chapter, a very interesting chapter, that is force and pressure. Clear? It's a very interesting chapter and important one. The chapter is force and pressure. So we will talk about force, their different types of force, their classification, some examples, the definition of pressure, what kind of pressure, and the chapter will complete. Clear? So before going into the topic, we should know that what is force, what is actually force, what is force. Now in short, if we say basically that force is a push or pull. In short, force is basically just push or pull. When you push an object or pull any object, that is the force. Clear? So it is basically a push or pull. So force is basically a push or pull. It is basically a push or pull. Clear? Whenever you push any object or you are pulling any object, that is your force. Clear? So it is just push or pull. Suppose you are pushing a table. Suppose you are pushing a table or pulling a table or pushing an almirah, that is the force. That means you are exerting force on the table or you are exerting force on almirah. So whenever you are pushing something or pulling something, that is the force. Clear? So now force, it has magnitude as well as direction. That means it has value as well as direction. Force has both value and as well as a direction. So force has both magnitude and direction. Magnitude means value. So force has both magnitude or value and direction. Clear? Suppose you are picking up a bottle from the table. Suppose you are picking up a bottle from the table. So you are applying force, because to pick up a bottle from the table, you will need to pull the bottle, and pulling is the force. Therefore, when you are picking up a bottle from the table or you are picking up a bottle from the ground, that is actually you are applying force to pick up the bottle from the ground. Clear? So it is nothing but it is just basically a push or pull. Clear? It has both magnitude as well as direction. Now what force can do? What is the effect of force? What force can do, or what is the effect of force? So what force can do? Now a force can move an object from rest. A force can move any object from rest. A force can move an object or any object from rest. Suppose this is a box. The box is at rest, but there is a floor or ground and there is a box on the floor. Clear? Now the box is stationary or box is at rest position. If you are applying force from this side, the box will start moving. Clear? Therefore, whenever you are applying force on the object or whenever you are applying force on any object, the object will start moving. That means a force can move an object from rest. Clear? Next is change the direction of an object. Force can always change the direction of any object. Change the direction of an object. The force can also change the direction of any object or an object. Suppose in a cricket game, when a batsman hits a ball, in a cricket game, when a batsman hits a ball, the direction of the ball changes, because the batsman applies force with its bat on the ball. Therefore, the direction of ball changes. That means a force can also change the direction of the object. Clear? Next, what force can do? Next, it can also bring the object to rest. It can also bring any object to rest. So it also bring an object to rest. Suppose the box is moving. This is a box. This is on ground. Suppose the box is moving. The box is moving from your right position to your left. That is from this side. Clear? And you are applying force from this side. So what will happen? The box will stop. The box is moving initially from this side to this side, and you are applying force from this side. So what will happen? The box will stop. Therefore, you can stop the box, or you can stop the object by applying a force from the opposite side. Therefore, the force can also bring the moving object to rest. Or sometimes in a football game, when a goalkeeper catches the ball stops. Whenever goalkeeper catches the ball stops. That means the goalkeeper is applying force on the ball, and the moving ball comes to rest. That means the force can also bring any moving object to rest. Clear? Next, force can change the shape of the object. Force also can change the shape of object. Force also can change the shape of the object. Suppose you are applying pressure, or suppose you are applying a force on the rubber ball. Suppose you are applying a force on rubber ball. So what will happen? The rubber ball will squeeze. When you are applying pressure on rubber ball, the rubber ball will squeeze. And when you release the force, the rubber ball will get back to its original state. That means whenever you are applying force on the rubber ball squeezes. That means its shape changes. So the force can also change the shape of the object. It can also decrease or increase the speed of the object. Force can also decrease or increase the speed of the object. So it can either decrease or increase the speed of the object. The speed of the object. It can also either decrease or increase the speed of the object. Clear? So these are the effects of force, or these are the things that force can do. Clear? Next, so I'll erase this first. So the next part is, suppose this is a box. Suppose this is a box, and you are applying force from this side. The force is applying from this side. So whenever the forces are applied in the same direction, see all the forces. Suppose this force is F1, this is force 2, this is force 3, this is force 4. So 4 forces acting on the same object and in the same direction, from right side to left side. Clear? So whenever the forces acting on the same direction, then the resulting forces will be added. Whenever the forces acting on the same direction on the same object, the resulting force will be added. That means if the resulting force is F, then resulting force F equals to F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4. Clear? Then the resulting force F will be equals to F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4. That means if the forces are acting in the same direction on the same object, the resulting force will be the sum of the constituent forces. Clear? So this is the case for same direction force. Now when the forces will be in opposite direction, then suppose this is a box. This is a box, it is on the ground. Clear? And you are applying force from this side, and this is F1, and suppose this force is F2. Clear? So two forces are acting on the same body and are on the opposite direction. That means that if the resulting force is F, then the resulting force would be F1 minus F2. That means the resulting force will be the subtracted. The resulting force will subtracted or reduces. If F1 is greater than F2, then it is F1 minus F2, and if it is F2 greater than F1, then it will be F2 minus F1. If F2, that is force 2 if force 2 is greater than F1, then the resulting force will be F2 minus F1. If force 1 is greater than force 2, then it is F1 minus F2. That means if the forces are acting in opposite direction, the resultant force will be subtracted or reduces. Clear? So this is the case for same direction force and opposite direction force. Clear? Next we will study classification of force. So classification of force, that means one is your contact force and the another one is your non-contact force. So first is your contact force. So what is contact force? Forces that arises with the contact of two or more substances. That is your contact force. So you are know the term contact. Contact means when the two objects are close to each other. When the two objects or more than two objects are close to each other, that is your contact. So this is a force. This arises when the two or more objects are close to each other or with the contact with each other. So that is your contact force. So what is the definition? The definition is forces, or you can say force that arises with the contact of two or with the two or more substances involved. This is D, involved. Forces that arises with the contact of two or more substances involved. That is your contact force. Clear? So contact force, there are two types of contact force. One is your muscular force and the another one is your frictional force. So this is contact force. I will erase the definition. Clear? Just take a screenshot or write it down. So contact force, there are two types of contact forces. One is your muscular force and the second one will be your frictional force. So number one, muscular force. So muscular force means related to muscle. That means the force resulting due to the action of muscles. The force resulting due to the action of the muscles is known as a muscular force. So this is a force resulting due to the action of muscles. Force resulting due to the action of muscles is called muscular force. So force resulting due to the action of muscles. Muscles means your biceps, your triceps, those are your muscles. So that means force resulting due to the action of muscles is called your muscular force. Clear? Next, frictional force. This is also one type of contact force. Next is your frictional force. So before giving definition of frictional force, we should know what is friction. Before giving the definition of frictional force or explaining the frictional force, we should know what is a friction. What is actually friction? Suppose this is a object. There is an object on the ground. This is an object on the ground, stationary object. Clear? And you are applying force from this side, so the body will move towards this side. This is the motion of the body. Clear? And this will be your friction. So clearly you can see from the diagram that friction always acts in the opposite direction of your motion. You are applying force from this side That means the motion will be from this side, the same direction. You are giving force from left side to right side, and the motion will also be from your left side to right side. That means the motion will be the same direction. The motion will be in the same direction. You are applying force. The force, the motion will be in the same direction of force. The motion will be in the same direction of the force applied, but the friction will be in your opposite direction. The friction will be in your opposite direction of the given force or the motion. That means friction is a force. Friction is a force that acts opposite to your motion. Friction is a force that acts opposite direction from your motion. That means it always opposes your motion, or it opposes the movement of your body or the movement of motion. Clear? So it is a force that acts opposite direction. That is, it opposes your movement or opposes your motion. So this is a one type of force. This force is known as basically friction. Clear? So what is frictional force? What is frictional force? The force which opposes the motion of any object. It is a force which opposes the motion of any object. Clear? So it is a force which opposes the motion of any object. Clear? It is a force which opposes the motion of any object. This is your frictional force, and the frictional force always acts between the surface of the object and the ground. Clear? Now recall the diagram. Recall the diagram. This was your object, this was your ground, this is the force, this is your motion, and this is the friction. Now this friction will always act between the surface of the object. That means this is the surface of the object, this is the surface of the object, and this is the ground. That means the friction force, that is the frictional force or friction, will always act between the surface of the object and the ground. Clear? This is the surface of the object, that is the bottom part, and this is the ground part. That means between this surface of the object and the ground, this friction force will exist. That means friction force will always act between the surface of the object and the ground. Clear? So this is your frictional force. So there are two kinds of contact forces. One is your muscular force and the another one is your frictional force. Clear? Next comes to non-contact force. Next come to non-contact force. That means non-contact force. Now non-contact force means forces without contact. Forces without contact. That is your non-contact force. So forces that arises without the contact of two or more objects involved. So force that arises without the contact of two or more objects involved, that is your non-contact force. Now non-contact force are three types. Non-contact forces are three types. One is your gravitational force, one is your magnetic force, and one is your electrostatic force. These three forces are your non-contact force. So number one is your gravitational force. Number one is your gravitational force. Number one is your gravitational force. Now what is gravitational force? Now force which exerted by the earth on all the objects. Force which exerted by the earth on all the objects. Clear? That is your gravitational force. So it is a force exerted by earth. It is a force which exerted by the earth on all the objects on it. Clear? It is a force exerted by the earth on all objects on it. It is the gravitational force. Clear? Suppose you are throwing up a ball. What will happen? The ball will comes the ground. The ball will comes on the ground because of this gravitational force. Whenever you are throwing up any object, it will come up to the ground because due to the gravitational force. So this is one type of your non-contact force. Next, number 2, magnetic force. Next, number 2 is your magnetic force. So by the term you are already guessing something, that's magnetic force. What is magnetic force? A force that attracts some metal objects. A force that attracts some metal objects towards a magnet. That is your magnetic force. That means this force is related to magnet. So this is a force that attracts certain metal objects like iron objects or iron fillers towards a magnet. That is your magnetic force. So it is a force that attracts certain metal objects like iron or iron pillars or iron, you can say iron fillings towards it or towards a magnet. So this is the magnetic force, a force that attracts certain metal objects, for example iron or iron fillers or iron fillings towards a magnet. That is your magnetic force. Last, number 3, that is electrostatic force. Electrostatic force. What is electrostatic force? It is a force exerted by a charged body. It is a force exerted by a charged body. That means plus charge, minus charge. You know that plus charge is known as cation, minus charge is known as anion. That is the charged body, the force between the two charged body. That means it is a force exerted by a charged body on another charged body or uncharged body. That is your electrostatic force. That means it is a force exerted by a charged body on another charged body or uncharged body. That means it is a force exerted by a charged body on another charged body or uncharged body. That is your electrostatic force. Suppose suppose you are taking a comb and brush it on your hair. Take a comb and brush it on your hair 3 to 4 times. Clear? And then take it near to the small piece of paper. Just first take a comb and brush it 3 to 4 times on your hair and then take it near to the small piece of paper. The paper will get attracted with the comb. That means there is a electrostatic force between the comb and the paper, so that the papers get attracted towards the comb. So that is your electrostatic force. Clear? That is your electrostatic force. So these 3 forces, that is electrostatic force, magnetic force and gravitational force, these 3 forces are your non-contact force. Clear? Next, these are the classification of force. Next, 2 forces are also there. 2 forces actually are also there based on the definition or effects of force. One is your balanced force and the another one is your unbalanced force. One is your balanced force and the another one is your unbalanced force. So let's talk about first balanced force. What is balanced force? So number 1 is your balanced force. Now a forces, what is balanced force? A forces having equal in size but opposite in direction. Forces having equal in size but opposite in direction, that is your balanced force. Suppose this is an object, it is placed on the ground. The object is placed on the ground. Clear? And you are applying force from this side, that means towards this, and there is another force acting on the just its opposite side. The two forces are equal. Remember, the two forces are equal, but they are in opposite direction. The two forces are equal, but they are in opposite direction. Now what will happen? The body will, or the object will, at rest, because the object will not move, because the two forces are just equal and they are in opposite direction. That means the body will not move. It will be there. It will be fixed in this position. The body will not move because the two forces acting on it are cancel each other. The two forces acting on the body will cancel each other because the two forces are of equal size and they are in opposite direction. So they will cancel each other and the body will not move. The body will be in its fixed position. So that is your balanced force. That means the two forces are balanced each other. The two forces are balanced each other. So these forces are your balanced force. Clear? So just draw this diagram. Clear? So what is balanced force? Forces that are equal in size but in opposite direction, but opposite in direction, so that they can balance each other. So these forces are your balanced forces. Clear? They do not cause a change in the motion. They do not cause a change in the motion because these forces are balanced each other. That means they will not cause change, any motion to the object. The body will, or the object will, be fixed in its position. So they do not cause any change in motion in the object. They do not cause any change in the motion in the object. When balanced forces are acting on each other, or when the balanced forces are acting on object at rest, the object will not move. When the balanced force acting on the object will not move. It will be fixed in its position. So that is your balanced force. Clear? The second is your unbalanced force. Number 2 is your unbalanced force. Number 2 is your unbalanced force. Clear? So what is the example of balanced force? What is the example of balanced force? Suppose in you have seen a game, tug of war. You have seen already in school competition or school level competition, a game of tug of war. So what happens in the game of tug of war? That both the participants or both the teams, when pull the rope, they are pulling the rope. If they are pulling the rope with equal and opposite force, the rope will remain stationary. When both the teams are pulling the rope with equal force and are in opposite direction, the rope will remain stationary. That means the rope will not move to any other teams. The rope will remain stationary. So that is the balanced force, because the force exerted by both the teams will balance each other, and therefore the rope will not move. The rope will be in the fixed position. So that is the balanced force. That means the example will be the force in the game of tug of war. The force in the game of tug of war, that is the balanced force. Clear? Now come to unbalanced force. Suppose this is a body. It is placed on the ground and you are applying force from this side. That is F. Clear? And there is another body. There two forces are acting. One is F1 and another one is F2. Clear? So what happens that if F1 and F2 are the two forces acting on the same side, the two forces F1 and F2 are acting on the body on the same side, that means the resulting force will be the sum of these two forces. The resulting force will be the sum of these two forces. That means if this is the object, F1 the first force, F2 is the second force, the two forces will act on the same side on the object. So if the resulting force is F, so if the resulting force, that will be equals to F1 plus F2. That will be equals to F1 plus F2. Clear? If F1 and F2 are the two forces acting on the same body, the resulting force F will be the sum of the two forces, that is F1 and F2. That means this is the unbalanced force, because these two forces cannot balance each other. That means the object will not remain stationary here. The object will start moving. Clear? So this is the unbalanced force. When the two forces are in the same direction, or the two forces acts in the same direction, these are the unbalanced force, and these force cause a change in the motion of the body. These force cause a change in the motion of the body, because these forces cannot balance each other. Clear? So these forces create a motion in the body. So this is the unbalanced force. These forces acts in the same direction. So what is the definition? The definition would be forces that acts in the same direction. Forces that act in the same direction are unbalanced forces. These forces are unbalanced forces. They cause change in motion in the object. These forces cause a change in motion in the object. So these are balanced forces and unbalanced forces. So these are the topics related to force. Clear? The next topic will be your pressure, because the chapter is divided into two topics. One is force and the one is pressure. The force is complete. Now come to pressure. Pressure is related to actually force, that is comes to pressure. The pressure is actually related to force. Clear? Pressure is actually related to force. Now what is the relation between force and pressure? The pressure, it is represented by P. Clear? Pressure P equals to force represented by F divided by area represented by A. So pressure equals P equals to force by area. This is the relation between force and pressure. So what is the definition of pressure? What is the definition of pressure? Suppose if we take area as 1, if we take area as 1, then pressure P will be equals to force. Then pressure P will be equals to force. If we take area as A equals to 1, that means the denominator will be 1. That means pressure P equal to force. So we can say a force acting on the unit area is pressure. Force acting on the unit area is called pressure. Why unit area? Because area is taken as 1. That means unit area. So force acting on the unit area is the pressure. This is the definition of pressure. Clear? So we will write force acting on unit area is called, this unit area is very important, is called pressure. Force acting on unit area is called pressure. Clear? Now this pressure is related to force, and this pressure is also related to area. Now if pressure is related to force, directly proportional. Now pressure P is directly related to force. That means if we increase force, the pressure will increase. If we decrease force, the pressure will decrease, because pressure is directly related to force. Clear? That means if force increases, the pressure will increase, and if force decreases, the pressure will decrease. Come to area. Pressure is inversely related to area. Pressure is inversely related to area. That means if we increase the area, pressure will decrease. If we decrease the area, pressure will increase. So this is the relation of force and area with pressure. Clear? Now the pressure is related with force and area. That means we can say the pressure is the intensity of force. We can say pressure is the intensity of force. This is actually pressure. Intensity of force means pressure. This intensity of force or pressure on any object depends on two quantities. One is the area of application, that is A, and one is the force applied, that is F. Clear? If we increase the force, pressure will increase. If we decrease the force, pressure will decrease. If we increase the area, pressure will decrease. If we decrease the area, pressure will increase. Clear? So pressure is also termed as intensity of force. Clear? Remember, this pressure is actually a force. This pressure is nothing but it actually a force, but it always acts to the normal to the surface. It always acts to the normal to the surface. It always acts to the normal to surface. It always acts to the normal to the surface. Clear? Next topic is your thrust. What is thrust? What is thrust? Thrust is nothing but it is just a force. Thrust is nothing but it is just a force, but it acts in the perpendicular to the given surface. Thrust is nothing but it is just a force, but its direction is the perpendicular to the given surface. Its direction is the perpendicular to the given surface. It is a one type of force, but it always acts to the perpendicular to the given surface. So thrust is a force. Thrust is a force in a direction perpendicular to the given surface area or given surface. Clear? So thrust is a force, its direction is the perpendicular to the given surface area. So this is the thrust. This is a one type of force. So we can say that pressure equal to force by area. The formula of pressure is force by area. As thrust is a one type of force, so we can replace force with thrust. So the pressure formula will be thrust by area. Clear? We can say the pressure is force by area, or we can say pressure equals to thrust by area. We also can say that pressure equals to thrust by area, because thrust is a one type of force. Clear? So what is the definition of thrust? What is the definition of thrust? Just take area A equals to 1. Therefore pressure P equals to thrust. Pressure P equals to thrust, just like force. Just like force. If we take area A equals to 1, that means if this is 1, that is unit area, that means pressure will equal to thrust. That means the force acting on unit area or the thrust acting in unit area is called pressure. So the definition will be just replace force with thrust. That means thrust acting on unit area is called pressure. That means the definition of pressure is, we can give the definition of pressure in two ways. One, the thrust acting on a unit area is called pressure, or we can say force acting on unit area is called pressure. Clear? So thrust is one type of force. Now this is the pressure equal to force by area. Now there are two more formulas which comes from this formula. This is actually the parent formula. So if we want to calculate the formula of area from this formula, so area will be equals to your force by pressure. Area will be equals to your force by pressure. This comes from this formula. This is the parent formula, pressure P equal to force by area. So from this formula, if we want to calculate area, so area will be equals to force by pressure. If we want to calculate force, this will be area into pressure. Clear? So these three formulas will required to calculate or to solve numericals. Next, unit. What is the unit of pressure? What is the unit of pressure? Now we know that pressure P equals to F by A. F is a force and A is area. So unit of force is Newton. Unit of force is Newton and area is meter square. So it is Newton per meter square. This is the unit of pressure, that is Newton per meter square, or it is said as Pascal. It is said as Pascal. That means if unit of pressure is asked, that is we can say the unit of pressure is Newton per meter square, or we can say the unit of pressure is Pascal, because Newton per meter square means Pascal. Clear? So unit of pressure is, we can say Newton per meter square, or we can say unit is Pascal. This is in SI form. Clear? This is in your SI form. So pressure unit of pressure is your Newton per meter square, or you can say unit is Pascal. Clear? Now the last topic of pressure, that is pressure in liquid and gas. Pressure in liquid and gas. Pressure in liquid and gas. Clear? First come to liquid. First comes to liquid. Now what is the definition of pressure in liquid, or what is the pressure in liquid? The pressure exerted by a stationary liquid. Pressure exerted by a stationary liquid on any point inside the liquid is known as its liquid pressure. Clear? Suppose you are taking a liquid in a container. So what will the liquid do? The liquid will exert its pressure from all the container, or more precisely to every corner and to every part of the container. To every corner and to every part of the container. When you are taking a liquid in a container, the liquid will, when you are taking a liquid in container, the liquid will exert its pressure to all the parts of the container, or more precisely to every wall of the container. At every point you will get the liquid pressure. Clear? So liquid also exerts pressure. So it is a pressure which is exerted by a stationary liquid. Pressure which is exerted by a stationary liquid at any point inside the liquid is known as a liquid pressure. So the definition will be pressure exerted by a stationary liquid. Pressure exerted by a stationary liquid at any point inside the liquid, at any point inside the liquid is known as liquid pressure. This liquid pressure is also known as hydrostatic pressure. This liquid pressure is also known as hydrostatic pressure. Clear? So liquid also exerts pressure. Next come to gas. In gas, mainly in gas we will study atmospheric pressure. In gas mainly we will study the atmospheric pressure. Clear? Now what is atmosphere? What is atmosphere? The envelope of air around the earth is known as the atmosphere. You know the definition of atmosphere? The envelope around the earth. The envelope around the earth, that is the atmosphere. It extends up to the 1000 km above the surface of earth. That is the atmosphere. It extends up to 1000 km above the surface of earth. That is your atmosphere. So atmosphere is the envelope of air around the earth. Clear? Its extension is, it extends up to 1000 km above the surface of the earth. Clear? So this is the atmosphere. Now the weight of this huge mass of air, exerts a pressure on all point of the object including earth. So this pressure is your atmospheric pressure. Clear? I am repeating again. The weight of this huge mass of air exerts a pressure at all points and all corners of the object, which is called as atmospheric pressure. So atmospheric pressure is the pressure exerted by the atmosphere, and it is actually the gas pressure, because atmosphere is actually all about gases. There is various gases in atmosphere. All these gases exerts pressure due to its weight. So this is the atmospheric pressure. So the definition would be atmospheric pressure, the weight of huge mass of air, exerts a pressure at all points and all objects which is called atmospheric pressure, which is called atmospheric pressure. So the pressure, atmospheric pressure is the weight of the huge mass of gases or huge mass of air exerts a pressure at all points and all objects, which is known as the atmospheric pressure. So pressure, so liquid and gas both exerts pressure. Liquid and gas both exerts pressure. Clear? So this is the end of your chapter. This is the end of pressure, and force is already described in the previously. So the chapter is complete. We have discussed all the topics, all the important topics related to this chapter. So the chapter is complete. Clear? Thank you.